Could space be fake? I've had a video sent to me, and it's really very suspicious. The video supposedly takes place in space with astronauts preparing a meal or something, and one of them reaches out and grabs a fork, only he doesn't grab a fork. What if this whole thing is a big fraud? Let's take a look at the video.
So let's watch the video. We got some astronauts and they're in space playing with their food in zero G. And yeah, but wait, what just happened there? That was weird. Let's take another look at this. This time, I want you to pay special attention to the astronaut on the far right. Watch his hand, this hand, and that fork. Okay, he reaches out for the fork. He grabs the fork. Whoa, but the fork doesn't move. What was that?
So what if it is fake? What if all these videos are faked? Could that mean the Earth is flat? Let's try a little bit of basic logic. What if the Earth is flat? If the Earth is flat, then all of this space, it's all fake. All the videos from space, all the photos from space, all been faked. You just saw a video, and that sure looks suspicious. That one was maybe faked. If that was faked, that could mean the Earth is flat because it was made in a video studio. It wasn't made in space. They could do that on a flat Earth to fool us into thinking the Earth was round. But if they can make fake space videos down on a flat Earth, can't they make fake space videos on a round Earth? What does a fake video have to do with that? Nothing? So it seems to me that if they did fake some videos out in space, it really doesn't tell us one way or the other anything about the existence of space or the roundness or flatness of the Earth. I mean, if the Earth is flat and space is not real, then definitely they have to fake it. But just because they do fake it, that doesn't mean that the Earth is flat or that space is fake. That doesn't follow. That's just a logical fallacy. And another thing, if this one particular video is fake, does that mean all the videos are fake? Does that mean everything is fake? All the satellites are fake? GPS satellites that we use to find our way when we're out in the middle of the open ocean, that's fake? Satellite TV, the TV dish on your roof or your neighbor's roof, that's not picking up a satellite? The ISS. I mean, sure, the videos of the astronauts on the ISS, are those fake? Okay, if those are fake, then when we look up in the sky and we go and we find a case where the ISS is transiting the sun or the moon, like this image here from Critical Think, is that fake? It's definitely there. Lots of people go out and see it. So no, that's not fake. So some of the videos, maybe they could be real while other videos were fake. Does one fake video mean all videos are fake? Is this video you're watching right now fake? Am I really here? Or am I just CGI?
CGI. Let's watch it in slow motion. Here he reaches like he's going to grab it, but then no, he thinks he's not, so he's going to rub his head instead. Changed his mind. And then, okay, here we go again. He's reaching out towards the fork, and he closes his fingers. Look at his fingers. He closed on something, but not the fork. The fork is there, and there's nothing in his hand. And then back down to his other hand. You'll notice he doesn't bring the invisible fork up to his mouth. He reaches out for the fork again, and then the video clip is over. Right off the top of my head, I can think of 3 different explanations for what we're seeing here. First, the obvious one, the implication that's being made here, this is all fake, and this is a digital error of some kind. How about another one? Could it be that he was going to reach out for the fork and he changed his mind? We see him do that right here. He reaches out for the fork and then he just changes his mind. Maybe that's what he does in the second shot as well. Or my third idea is, what if he's actually grabbing something? It's just something we can't make out on this video because the video is too low res. Maybe he grabbed a little fleck of food and he's wiping it on his other hand, or on his little bag that he's got in his other hand. Those are all possible explanations.
When we're evaluating the different possibilities, we can't really reject any of these, and I'm sure there are other explanations as well. But let's start with these. I think the wise thing to do would be to try to consider which of these explanations seems the most likely. Could be a fake scene. That's possible. It could have been an editing mistake of some kind. That could be. What else? Was it maybe a man grabbing something too small to see? Or perhaps he just reached out, changed his mind, and looked kind of silly. All these are certainly possible. What's the most likely? Now, obviously, the people who sent me this video and insisted that I look at it, they have jumped to conclusion A. They think that it is most likely that this was a faked up scene. Now, let me ask you to consider which is more likely. A whole group of astronauts are lying about being astronauts, and they are completely aware that they are filming a fake scene with fake editing techniques and an editing room somewhere and cinematography crew somewhere that are all in on it and they're all faking it. Or maybe there was something in that scene that was too small to make out in that YouTube video. Which is more likely? A grand conspiracy or a small piece of food that had broken away from one of the flying bits? Yeah, me too. I think that's a lot more likely than a grand conspiracy involving fake space and flat Earth. Well, how about this one? This C. Could it have just been that he was going to reach for the fork and he thought the better of it? Maybe not. Could that be what he was doing? Is that more likely or less likely than a grand conspiracy? Is it more likely that a man simply changed his mind and looked a little silly, or that there was a grand conspiracy? You got it. It was much more likely that we simply saw a man changing his mind. That happens all the time. Nothing out of the ordinary about that. The only thing out of the ordinary in this case was that it happened to take place in space with millions of people watching. Okay, so how about B and C then? Is it more likely that we saw an astronaut grabbing something too small to see, or was it more likely that he was reaching for the fork and changed his mind? That's a tough one to call, really. I'm going to say it looks like the way he closed his fingers on air. It looks like he closed his fingers on something. It could have been him changing his mind, but I'm going to go with it looks like he was grabbing something too small to see. And that leaves us with option A, the whole fake space situation, in a distant third. Even if we imagine that just this one video was fake, but all the rest of space is true, and we don't have to swallow the whole flat Earth thing, can we imagine that just that one scene was faked for some reason? Yeah, could be, but the likelihood of that being true, as opposed to one of these other very boring explanations, it's remote. The boring explanation is much, much more likely. So that's my assessment. I wouldn't say it's completely impossible. Many things are possible. I mean, maybe it was aliens that infected the man's brain and forced him to do that move in order to subvert our... The biggest problem with believing in a wild conspiracy like this one is the why. And you'll hear this all the time from the true skeptics of the world, as far as I'm concerned, are those who say, no, the Earth is not flat. I'm very skeptical of your claims that space is fake. Not because I'm gullible and I just believe everything the government tells me, but because all of the available evidence matches what the government tells me. The satellites are visible. I see the rocket launches. I see videos from space. And all of this technology that we rely on here on Earth, it works. And I don't have any explanation for how that technology works without satellites. So, yeah. But the biggest one is probably, why would they fake this? What reason do they have? And when we go out and we ask, and when we ask a flat earther, for example, and anyone who believes space is fake, why did they fake it? The answer is usually the big one, the big answer, they faked it for the money, follow the money. NASA has a budget of $52 million a day, something like that. There's huge amounts of money. That's why they're faking it. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That sounds like a good reason. Money is a good reason to lie to people. At $52 million a day sounds like a lot of money. So is there just like a NASA goon somewhere? Or maybe there's like a pyramid where the people at the top of NASA are pulling down millions of dollars a day for nothing? No, that's not what it... What do they do with that money? All that money that we're giving to these NASA people, where does it go? They spend the money. Do they take it up to space with them and shovel it out the shuttle door? No, they spend it. There are thousands of people that work actively for NASA, as well as thousands more who work at companies that contract for NASA. They spend the money. They spend it on very high earning. These are well-paid jobs, but they're highly skilled jobs, highly educated people who they do research and they build things and they design things and they test things. A chunk of it goes into safety, and they buy materials. They buy rocket fuel, liquid oxygen, liquid helium. They buy this stuff. They buy aluminum and steel and titanium. They buy these things from companies that make it, and that costs money, right? That's where the money goes. So if this was a scam to make money, then it's a stupid scam, because they just spent it all on the efforts that they told us they were going to spend it on. So that's stupid. That doesn't make sense. So let's try again. Number two on the why to fake it parade is, they are trying to hide God from us. That's right. The Illuminati, the Masons, I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, the big they of NASA is trying to hide God from us because, I don't know, they're Satanists or something. They want, I don't know what they want, but this is what they're doing. They are trying to hide God. They're trying to hide God. Well, let's take a look. Here's a website. I just did quick Google search. I'll link that in the description. You can check my numbers. Came from them. They say there are currently 2.6 billion Christians on this planet. 2.6 billion with a B Christians. And next up, the Muslims. 1.9 billion with a B Muslims. Next up, 1.7 billion Hindus on this planet. And who's next on the hit parade? 500 million, so 500 million Buddhists here on Earth, living amongst us. Billions of people who believe in space and have no problem believing in God. They have different ideas about what God is, but 2.6 billion of them all believe in the Christian God, and the overwhelmingly vast majority of those Christians also believe in space. There is no church, no organized church or organized religion that I am aware of at all, and I have searched. 0 churches, seminaries, any organized religion that preaches that space is fake or that the earth is flat. 0. All of these people have found God, and none of them believe that space is fake. So if they were trying to hide God, they are not doing it very effectively. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Why is there a gap here? The gap is because there are 1.2 billion non-religious people on the earth. So yeah, the 4th largest religious group is people who don't believe in God. So yeah, that's pretty pathetic if that is what these massive organizations that control everything in our lives are trying to do, is to presumably hide God from us. They're failing. They're not doing a very good job. Okay, so I'm not buying that. No, that isn't right. The last one, and this is the one I've been getting a lot lately, it's all about control. They want to control us. They know that if they can get us to believe stupid things like that space is real, ha ha, then we'll believe anything and we'll do anything they say. Okay, but does that make sense to you? I mean, if you told it to me, I guess it probably does. But I'm just going to ask, why? Of all the things you want to convince me of, why space? Why are you trying to convince me of that instead of something else? I mean, if a government wanted to control its people, that makes sense to me. What would the government maybe want to do? Perhaps it would want to motivate its people to fight against a rival nation. Right, we're going to go to war against those, the evil empire across the way. Does believing in space get us there? No, that doesn't help at all. We just need to convince our people that the rival nation is immoral. That's what our government should be tricking us to do. Space doesn't do that. What else? Let's try to boost the economy by fooling our people in some way into working harder and spending their money more, something like that. Maybe that would make sense. Or, I want to get the backing of the people to gain power for myself. so I will lie to them and I will convince them to go out and vote for me based on the lies that I tell. Sure, that makes sense. Lying to them about space. Think about this. Think about it for a minute, okay? Here's what we're saying. We're saying we have a GPS technology that's not based on space. We have a GPS technology that works based on something else. Don't tell the people the way it really works. Instead, let's trick our people into thinking this is based on satellites around a round planet. Why? We have a technology. We're not hiding a technology. We're just telling them it's different technology than it is. How does that benefit anyone? It does not. It just makes no sense. There's no reason to fake it, and that is one of the main reasons why this is not very believable.
From Montreal.
One last thing I'd like to address before we wrap it up is why am I attacking the innocent flat earthers, the innocent conspiracy truthers who are just trying to find the truth and just brave enough to come out and tell the truth. I don't mean to be attacking anyone. These are my opinions and my assessments, and if I'm a little snarky with it now and then, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be relatable. But let me say, I am responding specifically to conspiracy theorists who are claiming that these people here are liars. It's very easy when you see someone on a YouTube video to imagine that they are not like you, that they are not a person, not real. They're something else. They're an other. They're a great they and them. But these are people. Let me assure you, these are people. These are all Americans, like myself, like many of you. These are your neighbors. I have friends and neighbors who work at NASA. These are genuine, honest, hardworking people, and they don't deserve this kind of treatment.
Charlie Bolden.
So what do I see on this video? I think in all likelihood it's just an astronaut reaching out to grab a little loose bit of food before it gets away, and he's going to wipe it on something, and that's all that was.